The workshop tonight, I've got a ton of information. It's advanced information. And it will really give you clarity on what it takes to build a multi-million-dollar a year wholesaling operation, house flipping operation. So discover how you can scale your house flipping business from to $100,000 a month in 12 months or less. So, people on the line, if you listen to this right now, one type of person's going, wow, this is amazing. They've done multiple deals. They understand how the process works. They've maybe done 5, 10, 15, 20 deals, and they're really trying to refine their systems, and they're going, yes, I can see how this can happen. They've scaled it to, to nothing, to 10,000, to 20,000, to 50,000 a month, and they really want to get their systems and everything in place so they can get to $100,000 a month in revenue. That's a portion of the group that's on the call tonight. Then we have another portion of the group that maybe hasn't done a deal yet, or maybe you're new to real estate, or maybe you don't understand the house flipping business. So, for you, you're looking at $100,000 a month, and I get it. It's a lot of money. Most people don't even make 100,000 a year. There's a small percentage that makes 100,000 a year. Most of them, the average income in America right now, I think is like $34,000 a year. So that's almost 3 years of income, 3 years of work in 1 month. Okay. So your mind might be going, holy cow, it's impossible. I don't know how right. There's no way this could happen. Right. And then there's the other people that have been following maybe my podcast for a while, or maybe they've been Flip2Freedom Academy members, or maybe they've been in the wholesaling business and they've done deals and they get it and they go, okay, what type of systems and team do I need to be able to scale to $100,000 a month? So for the people that are on one side of the fence that are saying, I get it, I understand it, there's going to be unbelievable, groundbreaking content on this call that is going to give you a massive, massive mind shift. And I guarantee from this point forward, you will change the way you do business tomorrow. Okay, it will be groundbreaking. It's gonna change your perspective. For the people that are brand new, maybe that's never done a deal before, and they're looking at this, and maybe they've done 1 deal or 2 deals, and they're going, how the heck can you scale this to that? Just think, what if you get 20%, a tenth of this, a third of this information, whatever, and let's say you screw up. What if you absolutely screw up? Terrible, right? And instead of generating $100,000 a month, you do $10,000 a month. You do $20,000 a month, or you just do $5,000 a month. What if you can just grab a little grasp of this, right, and be able to generate just a portion of that? Just look at it in that perspective. Maybe not building $100,000 a month, but maybe taking it to the next level, or going out and getting your check. Or what it will do, it'll give you because I'm going to take you into everything. It's going to be crazy. Or it's going to give you the excitement, the motivation, the holy cow, it can be done type of thing that will change everything for you. Okay, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I want to accomplish on the call. I want to give the people that have had tons of experience, groundbreaking information, so they change business the way they do it. And for people that are brand new and you're getting started, to give you open up the holy cow, this can be a business that can change everything. Now, does it take work? Yes. Is there lots of effort? Yeah. Are there risks involved, having employees in office and stuff? Yes, there is. But it's 1,000 times worth it. All right. So let's get into it. Here we go. Let me get this thing out of the way. All right. So this is what we're going to cover. I'm going to cover and basically share my biggest failure and how you can avoid it. My biggest thing that I completely screwed up, I completely blew it, and I'm going to share that with you. One, so you understand that I'm an idiot too sometimes. Not everybody, maybe you listen to podcasts, you watch videos, you're this, that, and the other. And I'm just a normal, average, everyday guy that does deals, and I make gigantic mistakes just like everybody else does. I'm going to share one of my biggest failures. We're going to conduct a gap analysis on a typical struggling real estate investor. A gap analysis is basically looking at where they are and where they want to go, and we're really going to refine and define exactly what they can do to close that gap. You're going to discover a step-by-step detailed action plan to bridge that gap and to build a $100,000 a month business in 12 months or less. Now, what took me a handful of years to put together, you're going to be able to take it and be able to build it and put it together. I'm going to give you all the tools and the pieces and everything to put it together so you can do it yourself. Now, I'm also going to show you exactly what a $100,000 a month wholesaling business looks like, the entire operation, what it looks like, every tool that I use to manage and system and processes. Discover the 4 most important key performance indicators that will make or break your business. Okay. Now, I've talked, if you followed me on the podcast or other trainings, I've talked about key performance indicators. I have found a killer tool, a killer online tool that will visually show you exactly what I mean. When I found this, I was in shock. I was like, holy cow, someone built and it wasn't me, built a website that shows you what it's amazing. I mean, when I first started playing around with it, it was like, wow, this is super cool. So I'm going to show you how important these 4 key performance indicators are to your business and how they can dramatically, by very small tweaks, can dramatically just skyrocket your income. So I'm going to show you stuff that you can apply tomorrow in your business, right? You can apply tomorrow and get ridiculous results in the next 30, 60, 90 days that will put a direct impact to your bottom line. I'm going to share my 3 most coveted tools and resources I use to run my business every day. And I'm going to share my most responsive marketing channels. Okay, I'm going to bring you into a mind map that will essentially show you how to what's called roll out marketing. Okay, now you have to have specific things in place, like to be able to handle the marketing. But I'm going to show you what a rollout looks like. And I'm still in the process myself of implementing the rollout with my team. Okay, so which is cool, but there's a complete rollout plan on how to scale it, your marketing, but you've got to do it so you maximize each lead. The problem is if you increase marketing, right, and the marketing is things are falling through the cracks, leads aren't getting called within, on a prompt basis, or they're not going to a live person, then guess what? Leads are falling through the cracks and you're losing revenue left and right. Okay. So important disclaimer. All incomes you're about to hear are real and verified. However, the incomes depicted represented some of the most successful participants, and the majority of individuals earn less. These figures should not be considered guarantees or projections of your actual earnings or profits. It's understood that your success is predicated on your effort, which requires hard work, desire, and diligence. So the bottom line is it takes work. Anybody thinks that you can instantly create a push button $100,000 a month business is in your heart it won't last. It's not lasting. It's not something that will be around. This is a business that can be consistent, that can be sustained, that can grow into a viable business that you can will to your kids if you decide down the road, which is great. All right, my biggest failure, and I'm a little apprehensive to share this because it will reveal what a dork I am. But I want you to know that, and after you hear this, I want you to know that. Listen, if I can figure this out and get through some really tough times, then you can too. And that you can go out and hopefully inspires you. It doesn't matter where you are, wherever your situation. Like I said, if you've been doing deals or not, or you're brand new and getting started, It's a humbling experience when things happen like this. So I started wholesaling in 2003, and if you've heard any of my previous information, whatever, I basically bought a wholesaling course online. And I got started, and it taught to knock on pre-foreclosure doors, and that's how I got started. They told me about wholesaling, and obviously wholesaling, and I don't want to break down what wholesaling is, because I'm assuming that all you guys know what wholesaling is, where you contract with a motivated seller, a distressed seller. You get a property under contract, and you flip it via an assignment or a double escrow to a cash buyer. And what happens is, you can generate $5 and $10 and $15 and $20,000 per transaction. So I got excited. I bought this guy's course in 2003. I aggressively got started part-time around my job. I started knocking on pre-foreclosure doors, and I finally found a guy that was willing to sell his house, and I made $11,008 on my first transaction, and that changed everything. So for all you that are on the line, if you've made a check before, flipping houses, wholesaling houses, you understand how important that check was. You understand what it did for you, right? So what happened is in 2003, I went out and I made, from May to December, I made about $134,000. That was game changing for me. That was $134,000 flipping houses, right? So think about it. Before that, I was broke. I was living month to month. I had a job that I hated, had a boss that I hated. And then boom, one concept: flipping houses, wholesaling houses, getting a property under contract, turn around selling it, using none of my own cash or credit. Boom, I did it. I made my first check, $11,008, and bam, I started diving in, and I really putting effort. I actually quit my job after my first check, and I said, I'm going full boat, right? And I did. And what happens, I made $134,000 from May to December of 2003. It changed everything for me, okay? Now, in 2004, in early 2005, I started building a rental portfolio, structuring deals with seller financing. And I don't want to get too deep in that, because it's an advanced strategy of where you are working with a seller. They have an existing loan. You wrap the existing loan. You keep that loan in place, and you can either purchase or flip that property. In our case, we actually purchased the property. We gave a minimal amount down to the seller, and we actually took that property and purchased it. So we've built, and we didn't have to use our credit. We have to go out bank qualifying. We did on some of our properties, but not all of them. But built a rental portfolio of 120 properties valued over $36 million. Okay, 2004. We were hustling. That was a ton of deals. And then, right, it was the writing on the wall, right? In 2005. Inventory level in Phoenix, Arizona, Maricopa County, right? And a normal market is 29 to 32,000 units of inventory in a normalized market. In 2000, just to give an idea, in 2008, when the market crashed, there was about 50,000 plus units of inventory on the market, almost double the amount of inventory on the marketplace. Okay. Now, what happened was in 2005, inventory levels went down to 5,000 units. 5,000 units. That means it was bidding wars. There were people put up their house for sale. There'd be, 10 to 15 offers per house. There'd be a highest and best on everything. It was insane. So what happened was we basically heard the writing on the wall. Actually, I got a haircut from my hairdresser, and she was telling me how she flipped a house and made $40,000. And I'm like, holy cow, we got to sell. So just like Warren Buffett says, you sell into strength and you buy weakness. Well, that was my smart move. That's where I'm like, hey, I'm smart, right? So we sold our entire inventory in the height of the market from May to November of 2005. Our entire, everything, all properties. And it was ridiculous. More money came in than I even knew what to do with. I don't think I was even prepared for the amount of revenue that came in at that one point. It was insane. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a week in revenue of just from selling these properties. It was crazy. So what I did was I said, okay, well, hey, I'm brilliant. Hey, I'm brilliant. Right? I thought it was brilliant. Wrong, right? So I thought I had the magic touch and, holy cow. So I said, hey, why don't we do bigger, better deals? Right. So we started reinvesting because I had to find a place to put this money. It was just going to sit in the account, do nothing. I was itching, right, to do something. So what I do is we started reinvesting into large tracts of land. We bought over 300 acres out in Tucson that we're platting and engineering for a bunch of lots. No, it was my fault. It was over 300 lots, 128 acres. We bought 18 acres in Phoenix, Arizona, down in Laveen, and we assembled it with two other properties. Right, and then I bought 10 acres out by the Glendale Arena, which is where they had Super Bowl. Right? And then we bought some other properties. So we had all these different properties that were in the process of bringing it through entitlements. An entitlement is basically where you do the paper, in all the paperwork on the property. You do the zoning, you do the general plan amendment on a property down Laveen. We had to actually annex it in the city of Phoenix. We had to do a general plan amendment on it. And we took it from 1 unit per acre up to 6 units per acre, right? And then we took it to 166 lots, after we assembled all the land around it. And we actually, we purchased that with them. I'm using this one example of a property, but we were in the property for about $2.6 million. Okay. That's what we purchased it for all the assembled properties. And we went through the engineering on it, civil engineering on it. And then what we did is we actually put it out to market. We had a buyer, Montebellano Homes, that was going to offer us on the property. It was like 12 million and some change. So we're in it for 2.6, and they wanted, right? There was a huge spread on the property, close to like $10 million after we're done. And we had 3 different partners. Well, they backed out at the last minute right before closing, right? So they didn't lose their huge non-refundable earnest money. But that was basically the domino effect when the market started to crash in 2006, 7, and 8 here in Phoenix. So we reinvested everything back in the land. The real estate market crashed in 2007, and land prices pummeled, basically just plummeted. So to figure out land value, you got to figure out 25% is a typical norm for a land to home value ratio. So if you have a $100,000 house, a lot, right, a finished lot's worth $25,000 in a normalized market, right? In 2007, 2008, the market went down to where people were buying, even less than that, where the market crashed, where people were buying finished lots for, anywhere from 12 to 15%, right, of what the house is going for. The problem is in Phoenix, the market crashed where the houses now that were 100,000 were now worth 30, 40,000. So the land literally went to zero. It was amazing. And what happened, I had all this cash, I had it all invested in land. We had, all the entitlement work, all the properties we had lined up, everything. And I had zero liquidity. In 2008, ran out of cash. I mean, that's when Washington Mutual shut down. Banks were collapsing. It was insane. It's like, remember the stock market? The stock market was down 500 points. Wall Street was going insane, and so was I. I was in a position where I got away from my core, right? I thought I was too big. I thought it was too big for my britches. We're going to do a bunch of big land deals, and I was meeting civil engineers. I was meeting, the city council members and talking to them, going to dinner and figuring out this and property. It was crazy, right? And at the whole time, the market's just collapsing. If I would have continued doing what I knew how to do, which was wholesaling houses, you know what? I could have completely cleaned up in 2008. Now, the secret, right, is hoard cash when the market's like this, on fire, and then turn around, and when the market collapses, buy it. I could have bought properties up. I could have held on to all that cash and swooped in and brought properties up for 20, 30 cents on the dollar. But no, that was a gigantic mistake. So in 2008, right, it was, I don't know if it was like a Labor Day or a Memorial Day or something like that. It was a Monday. A thug-looking guy came to my door. He came in, he knocked on the door, started bamming on my door. It was like 8 o'clock, in the morning, and it was like a holiday, so I was up late with the kids and stuff. So I'm like, what the heck? Who's knocking on my door? All the neighbors outside, they're mowing the lawn, did this, or whatever. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I get up, I throw on my hat, and I was just completely out. I mean, I was out of sync. When you're just in a massive slump and you just don't know how to pull yourself out of a slump. I would read the newspaper every single day looking for hope that the real estate market's coming back. I was meeting with lenders about all these, properties and what we're going to do, and it was just a bad time, right? So this guy comes knocking on my door. I open up the front door. I look outside and he goes, "I'm here for the car." I'm like, "Holy cow, the car?" Right? I was like, "What?" Now, I knew I was a couple months behind on payments, but gee, I was like, wow. So, it was Monday, so I'm sitting, and it was a holiday, so I'm sitting there going, holy cow, I started freaking. My heart was pounding. When you have an adrenaline rush or someone's, you think they're going to threaten you or fight you or something, you have this massive adrenaline rush. I was literally shaking, my heart's pounding, my eyes went bloodshot. I was like, what the holy cow? So I got on the phone. Luckily, I called them and I held them off at bay so they didn't. The guy had a gigantic tow truck in my front yard there to pick up my car. And I'm telling you that, and I'm telling you this because that was a tipping point. I'm telling you, he came to repo my car. It was terrible. And that was a tipping point. That right there, I was like, I have got to get my crap together. I have got to get myself together because I was off spiritually. I was off physically. I wasn't working out. I wasn't feeling healthy. I was off in my business. I was off mentally. I had all these bad thoughts going in my head. I was a wreck. Everything was going. I was going south. And sometimes, right, in life, you need that to happen to wake you up. And I needed a wake-up call. And that wake-up call was that guy knocking on my door. That changed everything. Two things happened. Two major shifts happened for me. One is I dove back into wholesaling. I dove back in. And I sat down and I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to design the perfect lifestyle-driven wholesaling system. So if I'm going to do this over, I'm going to do it right. Everything I learned up to that point about wholesaling, about marketing, about building it, about scaling it, I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it right. That was the first thing. So I sat down and I blueprinted this entire plan of what I want to build, what I want to do, and I created the vision. One thing is when you're down in the dumps and you're down in a low point in your life and you're down in the slump or whatever, if you can create a compelling vision, a vision that's big, a vision that's bold, and I had this vision like, wow, this is what I want to create, and this is what I want to do, and I basically wrote down what I want to happen. I kind of mind mapped it out of what I wanted to look like, kind of blueprinted it out. I spent some time doing it of really what I wanted to create, what I wanted to happen. Then, if I could see it, I knew I could see it. I read Think and Grow Rich and those success books and stuff. And if I could see it and I could wrap my head around this vision, then I could dig down. I can start implementing. Now, guys, I was broke. I couldn't even pay my car payment. I was a mess, right? And the second thing I did is my father-in-law gave me a book called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Success. Now, I told you, my financial life was a wreck. My family life was good with my family, thank God, because they're my biggest supporters. Thank God they were good. But my physical life was a mess. My spiritual life was a mess. But he gave me this book called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Success, and I read that. And the first spiritual law is tithing. Now, tithing is where it's a biblical principle where you give basically 10% of everything that comes in your household, right? And I started from that point tithing. Not a lot. I'm talking like, $20, $30 in a month because that's all I was bringing in. A mess, right? But I started tithing and it grew and it grew and it grew where it's just insane right now. I mean, I tithe more than the average person makes in like 3 and 4 years. Okay. So it's amazing because it's built. Now, what happened was I started from zero, nothing. And I started writing letters for my kitchen table. So I'm at home, I got this list of these pre-foreclosures and these absentee owners, and I hand wrote letters, yellow letters, from my kitchen table, right? And I would send out 30 a day, 40 a day, and I'd sit there. Kids are watching TV or doing homework or whatever, and I'd be sitting there. I'd be handwriting letters to sellers, hoping to get some deals. So there might be people listening on the line that you've been up in tough situations, or maybe you're broke and you're in whatever and you're a mess and financially. Well, guess what? It's temporary. Whatever your situation is now, I want to encourage you and inspire you and let you know that it's temporary. If you create a compelling vision, and I believe if you tithe 10% of every dollar that comes in your house, and you do that, and you focus on doing small steps every single day, what's going to happen is you're going to start getting momentum's going to shift. The little things happen every day, momentum's going to shift. So, started writing letters. The result, well, I started Phoenix Wholesale Homes and started doing deals, right? Doing a deal here and a deal there and a deal here, doing maybe one deal every other month because I was, kind of then did another. I took money and reinvested it back into marketing and I redid it. This is a picture of both my daughters and I in New York City and Bloomingdale's this past year. Started Velocity Capital, which is launching this in the next couple weeks. Actually very shortly. But Velocity Capital is a private hedge fund that basically lend money. Flip2Freedom, I launched Flip2Freedom in April of 2010, right? So I started writing letters, I started getting calls, I started going on seller appointments, buyer appointments, started talking to buyers, started building it, started from scratch, had to start everything over completely. So Flip2Freedom, I started sharing my stories on a podcast into April of 2010, and it completely blew up. Now it has over 3 million listeners in 196 different countries around the world. Phoenix Wholesale Homes, right now, we do anywhere from $40 to $50 million a year in houses, which is crazy. I started the Flip2Freedom Academy because all the people listening to the podcast were like, hey, we want more, we want more information. How does this work? So they turned around and I started recording videos, the systems of what we do, Flip2Freedom Academy. Now we have close to 5,000 members. And I started 1-800-FAIR OFFER, which is one of the largest national vanity number we buy houses companies in the country, which we have basically licensees in every major market across the country, and we're developing that larger and larger. So it just is amazing. And then so I started sharing these stories and things with people. And David Marquette, he says, thanks, Sean, for the information you've provided and pushed to take action in 2013, my first full year wholesaling. My cash revenues of wholesaling were $136,142.68. We also did two sub two deals and one short sale. Total revenue is for 2013 was $266,590. Now we have systems in place, ramping up and expecting $1 million in 2014. Again, thank you so much for all you do. You provide a simple way of wholesaling real estate. So that's one. Tyler White's. This is I got a couple different stories from him. It's pretty amazing. He says, "Hey everybody, just a testament F2F Academy, and it was done for me and my family. Wanted to share some numbers with you. Last year we did right around $140,000 in revenue with an operating expense of $15,000. 2013, my full year. I truly has been a blessing, and I doubt that any of it wouldn't have happened without the Flip2Freedom Academy in place to guide me in the right directions. Thanks, Flip2Freedom." Now, here's a recent check from January of this year, over $111,668. Now, he basically says, right? Now I'm going to go back. He says, today's paycheck is equal to 2 years' income at my previous job, which is amazing. Think less than 2 years ago, I'd still be slaving today. So this is one check, because you don't know who is going to call you. When it comes to marketing, you might have a whale calls you. That is amazing. This is Frank. He said, "Hey, Sean, I'm a member, and I've seen your messages in the group. I wholesaled 2 properties last year, made $130,000 in profit. That's pretty good. You don't know who's going to call you." Brian Elwood, we finished up the year. We flipped 35 homes for a total of $430,000. So we took home $215 each before marketing, him and his partner. Now we have 3 VAs, an acquisition manager on our phone, and a room guys. Now, Brian, I just got off the phone with him about a week ago. They just finished up their 2014 numbers, and he did over $1 million this past year in 2014. So he did over $1 million following specifically exactly what we show him. So we just killer. Justin Casey says, "Sean, I don't have the exact numbers, but I did 14 deals. 23 deals in 2000. Right now at 100,000 2013, went full-time June 2013, now working to improve profit per deal." Okay, so those are just some people that follow the information, and it's made dramatic impact. That's what I'm saying. So if you don't do 100,000 a month, what if you did 100,000 a year? Okay, not many people make $100,000 a year working for themselves, and you can have a pretty killer business doing it. So what is the gap analysis? The gap analysis is a detailed comparison of your current situation and your future state. So a detailed comparison of the difference. What's the gap? The difference. The what do we have to do to close that? So what I'm going to do now is going to show you basically what 2 different investors look like. And then what we're going to do is we're going to close that gap. We're going to ask about 6 questions, right, during a process, and these are the 6 questions that come up as you're building. And these are the questions that I ask myself. Okay, I ask myself, and these are because what Tony Robbins always says. He says, questions change your life. If you ask the right questions, guess what? The right answers come out. So we're going to ask the right questions. We're going to see exactly where it comes out. It's going to be pretty killer. All right, so a typical struggling real estate investor in a current situation. He's a one-man show doing it all himself, right? He feels insecure because he's not sure when the next check is coming and for how much. His income is sporadic. He has no systems, no team, no consistency, and is reacting versus being productive, and is always feeling overwhelmed. Now, it's inevitable when you first start that you're going to have to do everything. That's just the way it is. You're going to have to do the marketing. You're going to have to do the, setting up maybe AdWords account. You're going to have to, figure out the list you want to mail in the phone system when you want to use, whether it be Google Voice or we use CallRail. You're going to have to set up that, and you're going to have to send out the marketing or write letters from your kitchen table, right? And then the calls are going to come in, and someone's going to answer the calls. What happens is typically is if you understand that is not the means to the end. Okay, that's not what happens is you understand that you're building and doing that for a specific purpose, that someday when the timing is right, that you will eventually have each one of those positions either outsourced or have an employee that will handle those specific positions. So it's very, very important that initially you do it. But what happens is that because income is sporadic, because this business is sporadic, because of the change of focus, right? When you're new and you're getting started and you're building your business, what happens is you start focusing on marketing because you got to get the phone to ring, right? So now once the phone rings, now you're focused on taking the calls and booking appointments. Now the focus goes on going to appointments and meeting the sellers. Now what you're doing is you're trying to convert, you're trying to get contracts. So now you're talking to sellers, you're negotiating, you're looking at houses, now you get a contract signed. Then the focus from there changed to opening up escrow, but now you've got to sell the property because you've got a time frame, right? You've got about a 30-day time frame or 45-day time frame of the seller. Now you got to get it sold. So now you put bandit signs out, you put the property on Craigslist, you put it whatever, and now you got calls coming in. Buyers, what's the first thing they say? Hey, when can I see the property? Right? So now you go and you go, okay, now I got to show them the property, right? So you go down, right? You got to show them the property. So you go do that. Right? And now that focus has changed. Now you're showing the property. They get a contract from him. Now you got to take the process and go to closing and bring both contracts and do either double escrow or an assignment. So what happens is that's the whole process. And then boom, at the close of a deal, holy cow, you get a check for $5,000, $10,000 or $12,000, whatever the number is. 100,000, whatever the number is. And then boom, you immediately focus back on the marketing to get the phone to ring again. And that's the process of what happens typically when you're a one-man show. Now, is that wrong? No. The good thing is, and the exceptional thing is you're learning each position. You're learning what it takes to generate leads from marketing. You're learning how to get the phone to ring. You're learning how to talk to sellers. You're learning how to negotiate with sellers, how to deal with buyers. You're learning that whole process, right? So don't look at it as futile. You look at it as I'm learning exactly how to go out and do this. So let's keep going here. Get the typical struggling real estate investor. He's not sure what to focus on. He's focusing on the next thing that comes in line, right? Too many distractions get in the way. So obviously there's projects. There's setting out direct mail, setting up your Google AdWords campaign, getting your website set up, getting your team set up and stuff like that. And you're looking, there's so many distractions. How can you manage your time correctly to go out and be able to develop these type of marketing channels and things? How can you work on your business instead of in your business? He's afraid to spend money on marketing because he doesn't know his KPIs. This is sporadic marketing. This is where I'm just going to throw money up in the air. I'm going to take my 15%. I'm going to try this, and I'm going to try this list, and I'm going to try that list. And they don't know that you got to hit the list 2 or 3 times. They have no system for marketing, right? They're just hitting, I'll try this list, and I'll try that. I'll try this marketing piece. I'll try that. I'll try doing this. So it's putting all these different things. There's no numbers that are tracking. There's no consistency, and there's no history that's being captured. I can tell you probably one of the most important things you can do right now is start tracking in detail all of your marketing. Okay? So if you track in detail all of your marketing, you're creating history. And that history of data is incredibly important as you scale. You will know which marketing channel produces the most ROI, which marketing channel creates the more phone calls, which marketing piece is better to use with which list, and all that stuff will enable you to be smarter in the marketplace than everybody else. He's working more and feels like nothing's getting done, no time management. It's the hustle. But see, here's the thing, and I want to encourage you this. It's okay to do this. Okay, if you're brand new and you're sitting going, holy cow, it's a lot of work, it's okay. You're learning the process. But what I'm going to give you here tonight, and I'm going to show you, is why you're doing it. So you understand the process, and then you can build into the autonomy. You can build into the freedom by understanding each one and then strategically hiring. Now, he's frustrated, can't quit his day job yet, and has doubts that it'll ever work. Then someone quits. In this particular situation, gets frustrated, I don't know, gets a deal here, then doesn't get a deal for a couple months and tries again. And then what happens? People quit. And when you quit is because you lose sight of the vision of whatever you're creating, and you're just hustling to get the check. Okay? Now, let's ask them some questions. How many leads did you get this week? 3. What was the source of the leads specifically? Not sure. I think they came from Bandit Signs I put out several weeks ago. How many appointments did you go on? Answer 1, but the seller wanted too much. Okay. How many offers did you make? 1. How many deals did you get? None. How much revenue did you make? None. Okay. So we start asking questions of the struggling real estate investor, and we find out that, holy cow, you know what? There's not enough numbers there. He's not, it's going all over. Now let's look at the future state. Okay, so we know where he is. Now let's look at the future state. Future state. He has a team of motivated rock stars that run his business. He has systems in place that produce consistent and reliable income. He's 100% focused and knows where to spend his time for the highest productivity. He has deals closing every week, making him huge profits. He can run his business from anywhere in the world because he has the right softwares and systems in place to be able to do that. He knows his numbers and is growing his business each and every year with confidence. He has a lifestyle his friends and family envy. He goes on exotic vacations, takes time off, spends quality time with people. And it's so true. He's balanced. Guess what balance means? Guess what? He works out. He's in the best shape of his life, right? He feels like $1 million. He feels better. Why? Because he has time to spend. He can focus. Instead of running chaotic, going from, I got to talk to the seller, I got to do marketing, I got to go buyer. So, you got all this sporadic stuff. Now guess what? He's balanced. He has a system in place. He's got a team in place to be able to do that. He's able to focus on bigger and better things, bigger and better deals, which is cool. All right. How many leads did he get this week? Answer 98. Now, it could be him or his team, not just him. Obviously, can he handle 98 himself? Absolutely not. Without stuff falling through the crack. What was the source of the lead specifically? Various high-performing marketing channels that are tracked with the highest ROI. How many appointments did you go on, or you or your team go on? 16 appointments for the week, right? It's about 4 or 5 days a day. How many offers did you make? You made 88 offers. Now, offers are made on an appointment, and offers are made over the phone, right, with your sales rep, inside sales rep. How many deals did you get? 7. How much revenue did you make? We closed them 4 deals totaling $68,000. So that's future state, right? So here then comes the question. How do I go from my current situation? How do I go from the guy that's kind of sporadic, kind of all over the course, kind of trying to figure stuff out, and how do I turn around and bridge that gap and go to the future state? How the heck do I do that as fast as humanly possible? Okay. Now let's get into some stuff here. There are 4 key components to growth. Okay. 4 key components to growth. 1 is vision of the future, right? You have to have a clear, compelling vision, not only for yourself, but it has to be relayed to your team. Right? But it starts with yourself. It starts with where you are right now. It's creating a clear, compelling vision. We'll talk about that. We're talking about key performance indicators, what they do, why you track them. See, I've talked about key performance indicators, and I've talked about different type of spreadsheets and stuff, but the feedback I'm getting from people is they don't understand why they're tracking them. They're just, okay, tracking numbers, but how can you tweak the numbers to increase growth? It's incredibly important. Hiring rock stars, right? How do you find that one person? Because hiring process is such a crazy thing. And strategic meetings, okay? So the part of this, these are 4 key components. Now, these 4 key components are all strategically put in place to do one thing, okay? To do one thing. And if you do this one thing I'm about to show you next, and you do it prematurely, you do it before you have certain things in place, you can do it while you grow, but what it will do is it will allow you to scale your marketing efforts by 10-fold. Okay? Here's the deal. I met someone very, very successful in the wholesaling business. And at the time I was sending, this is several years ago, at the time I was sending out about 3,000 to 4,000 mailers a month, right? And it was me and it was one other guy. 3,000 to 4,000 mailers a month. That's what we're doing. And I talked to him. I go, what's going on? What's up, man? He goes, oh, I just, we just got a mail drop hit, so my phone's ringing and stuff's going. People are calling. Got appointments were going on. I said, how many did you drop? He goes, 125,000. I was like, what? He sent 125,000 mailers. 125. Now, even if it's, we're talking at a 34, 35, 36 cents, right? I mean, you're talking $30,000, $40,000 he just dropped in marketing. Huge, right? Wow. Calls coming in, system in place, talking to, I was like, wow, amazing. 100. So at the time, it gave me a perspective. I'm like, holy cow. So what did I do? It's me and one guy, right? Me and one guy. We're taking phone calls. I'm talking to buyers. He's talking to sellers. So what I do is I go out and I go from 3,000 to 5,000 in a month. And the next month I drop 100,000 mailers. I think there's a picture on Facebook. I drop 100,000 mailers. And guess what I found out? 2 people cannot handle 100,000 mailers. between the amount of phone calls were coming in, the leads that were coming in, the people that we were talking to, the appointments. There was so much stuff falling through the cracks all over the place. We still created revenue. We still generated ROI, but it was nothing like it should have been, because it was there was like leads. It was like, if you could see like marbles flying all over the place, if marbles were leads and there was like 1,000 marbles all laying all over the floor, rolling all over the place, that's what it felt like. There was like leads everywhere, just falling that we couldn't even get to. So what happens is these right here, whoops, these 4 key components right here, these key components, the vision, key performance standard, rock stars, these right here allow you to scale your marketing. If you scale it prematurely, what will happen is you will be wasting money. You'll be throwing money away. Now, you can scale into it, which is killer. Now, let's talk about future vision. Future vision, what we have is a 10-year goal, revenue goal, a 3-year revenue goal, and a 1-year revenue goal. Okay? So everything's broken down 10-year, 3-year, 1 year. And this revenue goal then becomes, right, reverse engineered. So you take your revenue goal and you reverse engineer it down to specific numbers, specific key performance indicators, right, that you can then track on a weekly basis. So let me give you an example. Reverse engineer your goals with KPIs. So we pick a future date. Let's say our future date, and I just pulled something randomly so for an example so you could understand. We pick a future date. Let's call it December 31st, 2016. Let's say theoretically we want to do a $4 million in revenue. So in essence, we have to do 308 deals on a profit per deal of $13,000. That's leads per month, 340 leads. And that's leads per week, 85 leads a week, with postcard mailing of 20,000 postcards per week. This is how you reverse engineer. So what did I get down to? I got down to a weekly goal when it comes to marketing, and it comes down to a weekly goal when it comes to lead generation. Now, could you make that 400,000 and cut everything down? Of course. Right? Could you cut it? Could cut down the 40,000? Of course you could. But the bottom line is this: is that you reverse engineer. See, if you reverse engineer and you make it into a bite size, because if you go, okay, let's say we're talking and we're going, okay, what do you want to do this year? I want to do $4 million this year. Okay, great, let's do $4 million. Okay, guys, let's do $4 million. Well, how do you do $4 million? How do you do it? Where's the end goal? Right? What's your profit per deal? Right? What's your conversion ratio? How many leads does it take to get a deal? Right? What's your when you do your marketing on your postcards and stuff, how many calls do you get in? What's your average cost per lead? What's your per deal? So if you don't know those specific numbers, what's going to happen is you cannot reverse engineer. Reverse engineering your goals is a key important thing because it makes it attainable. And if you believe and your team believes it's attainable, what happens? You do it. All right. So I'm going to take you in the spreadsheet real quick. Some of you have seen this, some of you haven't, but I want to show you what this does. It's a revenue goal. So let's say theoretically, and I have this set, and it's for a team. Let's say I have an inside sales rep, outside sales rep, and lead manager, or it could be done for like a solopreneur. So you have no team; it's just you, yourself, and you. Okay, so you can build into it. So what happens here? Let's say if you want to do $1 million in revenue, we're talking over $100,000 a month in revenue, 100,000, right? We have 2 particular sections. We got paid marketing, and we got self-generated leads. Now, what this does, it tells us, right? Based upon our these key performance indicators, right, here, on exactly what our marketing cost is going to be, exactly how many deals that we need to hit our goal, and exactly what our leads per contract. These numbers right here, and I'll talk about in a second where we get those numbers from and how you get them. But then what we do is we can start kind of pushing this to increase our bottom line. So now what happens is this is just marketing. Now, self-generated leads, those are deals off the MLS, okay? So how many, and these are self-generated. These are meaning there's no marketing money tied. So let's say annually, if we're gonna go out and do 15 of these from MLS, JV deals, we do a ton of JV deals. If we're gonna do, say, 30, let's call it 25 JV deals annually. Referral deals, we have an entire referral system that goes out to all of our sellers, and which is great. Our referral system works phenomenal for having sellers turn around and giving us leads. So referrals, let's talk about that. Let's say if we do that on an annual basis, let's say we get 10 referrals. Okay, so what did that do? Right? What did that do? It gave us 40 from market. It dropped our marketing costs. It increased our ROI and gave us an expense ratio of about 46%. Now, you want to be running at an expense ratio, right? Whether you're doing $1 million or whatever, you want to be running anywhere from a 30 to 40% expense ratio, depending on how much you're paying your team. Now, look at this. Inside sales guys will make 100,000. Outside will make 80,000, and lead manager will make about 30. This is salaries going out. Now, it's going to be very difficult, right? Very difficult to be able to do this as a one-man show, of course. So you have to have a team in place to do it. Now, we're going to save 302,000. Now, let me show you some pretty cool stuff here. These are numbers that we tracked for my numbers that we tracked from 2014. This is average profit per deal, 11,115. Leads per contract, 24. That means it takes 24 leads to get a contract. And our cost per lead is 252. So what we did going into 2015 is our goal was to reduce this cost per lead, right? Reduce this number by increasing conversions and increase this number, not significantly, by a lot. So ours is such that we want to go 13,000 per deal. Oops. 13,000 per deal. Let's just leave this at 24, and we want to get to a $200 cost per lead. Now, what does that do? It puts me down to a 34% expense ratio, right? 650,000 net revenue. That's after paying everybody, everything, right? Yeah, I have my expenses in there, I have my team in there, boom, and that total expenses, which is mostly salaries, right? And then here, $341,000. So this right here. Now, what if you want to put this at 5 million? Now, I mean, I don't want to get out of hand or whatever, but you can. It shows you exactly what you do. So what we've done in our business is we're aggressively trying to bring down our cost per lead. We're working on increasing this, and we'll show you how in a second. But more importantly is we're really diving in heavy on this part. Okay, and I'll talk about that in a sec on exactly how we can increase JV deals, referral deals. We got a referral system in place. JV deals, we have a meetup that starts, actually our first meetup here in our new office is April 8th. So if you are in the Phoenix metro area, anywhere in Maricopa County, you're more than welcome to come to my office here in Phoenix, April 8th. We'll have a meetup. We've got, I don't know how many people. We've got a bunch of people already coming already. But it'll be cool. It'll be fun. We're going to talk about cool stuff. And this purpose of doing that is to educate, but also give people the opportunity that we can work with them and bird dog deals with them locally. I did that for a long time, and we did it over at the Paradise Bakery in Phoenix, and it got so big they kicked us out of the Paradise Bakery. So now we have the office, and we're starting that up, which is going to be cool. Self-generated deals, we should be able to do more than that. So the bottom line is and this gives you the ability, understanding what the importance of the key performance indicator, what it does to your ROI and your net revenue and the bottom line, right? And how important your self-generated leads play into the entire mix. Okay, now let me show you something really cool. Let me go back here. All right, I am going to go to escape. And forgive me for going back and forth here, but I want to show you something cool. Okay. This is a killer website, and it's gonna really show you what these key performance indicators are. Okay, one is leads per contract, average deal size, cost per lead, And here, number 4, that we haven't talked about before, but it's critically important, is the average days from contract to close. Average days from contract to close. Now, if you've been doing this business for a while, right, and you're not tracking your contract to close, I suggest it. From when you sign a contract with the seller and you turn around and sell it and close it with a buyer, that's what I'm talking about. Days from contract to close, track that, okay? And I'm going to show you in a second, and you're going to fall off your chair listening to this. So whatever you're doing, block it out, because this is critically important. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. And I didn't even create this website. I just found it. Okay, so the website is the Task Group, right? I have no affiliation with them. I don't even know what they do, honestly. But they've got this killer calculator right here. So I'm gonna blow it up for you here. Okay, so this right here is active opportunities. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, our average, for every we're going to get one contract out of 25 leads. Okay, so we're going to call this leads, right? One contract at 25 leads. We're going to say our average deal size, in this case, let's call it $10,000. Our winning percentage is 4%. So if you divide 4% into 25, you're going to have one contract. So you're going to get one contract, right, per 25 deals, 25 leads. Average sales cycle typically is 30 to 45 days for most people on what it takes. Now, check this out. I'm going to click here, sales velocity, $121,667. Okay. So if you take this right here, average deal 10,000, winning percentage 4, average sales cycle 30 days. Now, let me show you something. This is where it gets interesting. So this is basically doing one deal a month at $10,000 is right here. I mean, you can just do the numbers. It calculates out perfect, right? So now, what if, right, you increase by $1,000? So let's say a buyer calls in and they says, hey, I see you have the property listed for $78,000. Hey, can you do $75,000? And you're excited because you have a $10,000 deal, but instead of $10,000, you take 7, right? And you reduce that. Over time, if you make that a habit, and you're training your buyers to make that a habit, what happens? Boom. Now look at this, right? So you go from 10, let's call it, to 7, right? Boom. You just lost a huge amount of money. But now let's talk about where you're going the other way. You're going from 10 to 11, right? You just increased your revenue. Now, I want to show you something that's even more important that no one's talking about. Nobody. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Is your average sales cycle, your contract to close. Let's talk about that. Okay. Most people in this business, if you've been doing it for a while, your average contract to close is roughly 30 to 45 days, right? Let's say you can move that and really push. Now, our average contract to close is about 10 days. That's our average contract to close. All of my contracts, when we do with the buyer, we immediately, and we refined our system. When we get a contract, we get pictures immediately. Boom, it goes up on our site. It goes up to an email blast. We got calls coming in. We get a contract within 24 to 48 hours, assuming it's a good deal. And then we go to close. It's a 10-day cycle. So instead of 30 days, what if you do 15 days? Same cycle, same thing. All you did was tweak one thing. All you did is tweak your sales cycle, where now instead of your contract to close, you go, oh yeah, we'll close it. And the buyer closes when you get your contract. Watch this. You just doubled your revenue. Because of this, right? Now, we've got average deal size. That's a tweak. Now let's look at this. Conversion ratio. This is conversion ratio. It's how many appointments you can go on, and I get excited about this. How many appointments you can go on, and then you can convert that to a deal. So you go on an appointment, and you go on, say, in this particular case, you get 25 leads and you get one contract. What if you could get 5 out of 25? Because you have the ability to maximize each lead for profit. You have the ability to negotiate better than the competition. You have the ability to educate the seller on what the real comps are. You have the ability to be more professional than what all the competition out there. You can read people. You understand their personality types. You understand how to close and what to say, how to do a tie-down close, how to do a assumptive sale close, how to do an alternate choice close. You understand exactly how to overcome objections. And let's say you go from 4 to 8%. All you did was increase, right? Now you got 2 contracts out of 25. You reduced your sales cycle and you increased it by $1,000. That's it. Small tweak. What does this do to your revenue? Holy cow. We got the same leads. We've increased it by $1,000. All we got is one more contract per deal, and we reduced your sales cycle, and we did small tweaks to what you're doing, and boom, you went from $122,000 to $500,000. I had a high-end coaching student that came in here about 3 weeks ago in my office. He was here for a couple days, 2-3 days, and we sat and we went through his entire business, every ounce of every process of everything he did. And he made $511,000 last year. And we showed him this, and his average sales cycle was about 45 days. 45 days. He made $511,000 last year. He was letting his buyers, because he did primarily assignments, he was letting his buyers close when his contract with his seller was ready to close. I was like, big mistake, big mistake. And I showed him this. I says, listen, why didn't you get him to close it? You can assign it, close the deal. And you know what? If you have to leave the seller in, do a lease back. Do it. Have it rent him back for a month or 3 weeks or whatever. If it's a smoking deal, the inventory's tight in his current market, he's done. And guess what? He could increase his sales cycle. He would generate more revenue, and he'd do more deals. We kept the opportunities the same. All we did is we got better at closing. We got better at reading people. We got better at getting a better price on a contract, and we're only talking $1,000. And we reduced our closing time frame, and it increased our revenue by almost 5 times. Do you understand how? Now, if you start taking this and you start putting big numbers in here, right? You start putting bigger numbers on marketing and you're talking millions of dollars difference. For him, his numbers, right? His numbers, we took his actual lead numbers and put it in here. It made for him over $1 million difference if he did or did not do it. Now, obviously, I get a little pumped up about that, but that's killer. The difference, what it can do. So now what happens, right? If we go through these 4 important numbers, is the next question comes up. How can I strategically grow from a one-man show to a profit-producing machine, cash-flowing machine? How can I do that, right? Well, let's look at the Master Plan My Map accountability chart. I'm going to give you this for free. I'm going to show you where you can get it. But this Master Plan My Map. Okay, let's get back in here. All right, I'm using a free tool called Xmind. Xmind, you can go to xmind.com and you can download it, either Mac or whatever. But here it is, if you can see it. So this is my accountability chart. Here's my role: visionary, implementer, developing new revenue streams, finding new marketing ideas, building a relationship with JV partners and alliances. So for an example, this came out, I was looking at revenue streams. The reason I started Velocity Capital, the hedge fund I'm talking about that will lend money to hard money to local real estate investors, and also for people that are in markets that are doing HUD transactions nationally, or they're in a market where they don't have a title company and they can't do double escrows or assignments. What's going to happen is we'll be able to lend transactional funding to those people, because so that those are big items. I mean that in the next that'll be a $10 million business within the next handful of years, because those are the strategic visionary things that you can create in a role of working on your business versus in your business. Okay, now I'm also the chief operating officer, right? So I'm signing all the docs. I sign all the checks. I sign all the docs. I deal with all the QuickBooks stuff. Oh, I may have my CFO deal with that, but which is Chelsea. Reporting, pipeline report, revenue reports, and expected revenue for the coming week. So those are numbers that I look at as a chief operating officer. Now my outside sales guy is Nate. So here's the thing, and I want to make something clear. This right here is the team, right? You got the CFO and their role in the reporting numbers, right? We got self-generated sales rep. We've got marketing manager. We've got dispositions, chief operating. We got Las Vegas. We've got lead manager. This is the team, okay? So Now, what's going to happen is if you're a one-man show, so the question is, how can you grow from a one-man show to a thriving business as fast as possible? First off, you have to understand what you're building. You've got to get it. You've got to understand the numbers that are being reported and the roles for each position. Each position has a specific role, and they have specific numbers that they report on a weekly basis. Okay, so in this particular situation right here is that your name as a one-man show is going to be on all of these boxes. Guess what? You're going to be the chief operating officer. You're going to be the visionary. You're going to be the outside sales rep. You're going to be the lead manager. You're going to be the disposition manager. You're going to be the marketing manager. You're going to be the self-generated manager, and you're going to be the CFO. Your name as a one-man show is going to be in each one of these boxes. Now you're going, holy cow, that's a lot of work. That's okay. It's okay. Now you know. Now the reason where you get excited, go, holy cow, this is my vision. This is what I can create. Now you start generating revenue, right? You start reinvesting 15% back in the marketing. You start building, you start getting JV deals, you start working. And guess what? Now you're in a position where you want to hire somebody. So who's your first hire? Here's your first hire. People ask me all the time, who do I hire first? Do I hire an outside sales guy? What do I do first? You hire a lead manager. So what's the role of a lead manager? Enter all data into Podio, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Managing Podio, setting up appointments for the sales rep, which will be you. Send offers to unmotivated sellers, right? Send thank you cards to sellers. Manage follow-up in call loop, where we do voice blasts every 2 weeks. So her reporting on her numbers is number of leads we get, number of people she talked to, number of email, number of appointments she made, and number of contracts that she got on her email contracts. Okay, so those are her numbers that she reports on a weekly basis. Okay, now I have little incentive programs and stuff like that. I work for them on a week. It's pretty killer, but they love it. All right, so this is hire number one. Hire a lead manager, right? So now it's all you in all these boxes. You start cranking. Who do I hire first? A lead manager. Now, could your lead manager be local? Yes. Could it be someone that's a stay-at-home mom? Yes. Could it be someone that's working part-time to get started? Yes. Could it be a virtual assistant? Right? Yes. Now, I haven't had a great luck with virtual assistants, but the bottom line is, could you hire? Yes, you could. Okay. But the bottom line is that you have to still meet and report every Monday. Now, after this hire, your next hire is an outside sales rep. This is hire number 2, hire number 1. Outside sales rep, making offers and going on appointments. How many appointments they went on, how many offers they made, how many contracts did they get, and the contract value. So every Monday morning when we do our meeting, Nate comes in and he sits down and we go through, and he basically, what he does, he's a licensed realtor, but he works for me full time as an employee. We come and say, great, how many appointments did you go on? How many contracts did you get? What's your contract value? And I have an 80-inch plasma in my office, and I put up our scorecard, our reporting card, which I'll show you in a second, of those numbers, and everyone knows what's going on. It's transparent. Everybody sees what's going on, and you're coming to Monday morning meetings happy, which are for me are mandatory, or you got your tail between your legs, right? It shows conversion ratio, everything. So here's the deal. That's the second hire. Third hire is disposition manager. Disposition manager manages all the transactions, manages all the buyers, shows the properties, gets the contracts, updates the whiteboard in Podio, and the number of closing for the week and how much future revenue. So they're managing the closings. Their mission is how many pushing everything to close on the shortest time frame possible to get the deals done before Friday. Then we have a marketing manager. There's a self-generated leads, each one here, right? And there's a CFO, which is a chief financial officer that basically pays all the bills, manages all the money. But still, I don't give them bank account access. I write all the checks. I want to keep control of all that. But I sign all the checks. I don't write all the checks. She pays all the bills, writes all the checks. But manages all our expenses, if what you could say. So I can see an income and expense report. So this right here is an accountability chart, and I'm going to show you here in a few where you can download this for free, and you can have it in your business. All right. That's the master plan accountability chart. Oops. All right. Boom. Okay. So we showed that. So what this does is it gives you the vision of what you're going to build. So then you guess what? You're not going to get discouraged. You know, when you're talking to sellers and talking to buyers and taking phone calls and doing this, if you're in the muck right now doing the business, you can then see this, you can build it, and go, wow, this is what I can build, and you can work toward this strategically. Okay? Now, burning question number 3. How can I find highly motivated, talented rock stars for employees? That's the next question, isn't it? Right? So when I was sitting there, guess what? I'm like, holy cow, I built this whole entire this mind map out, right? I was a solopreneur. I was doing everything myself, right? And I'm sitting there going, well, how do I find killer people? What do I do? How do I find these killer people that could fill these positions? That's the next question. Because I'm going to tell you right now, hiring can be, without the system I'm about to show you, a nightmare. Okay? It can be an absolute nightmare. And here's why. Because the bottom line is there's 50 billion people out there and they're submitting, resumes everywhere. How can you have the cream rise to the top? How can you have that one person stand out above all the rest? Right? Otherwise, you're sifting through a bunch of resumes. You're calling people back. People are coming in for interviews. You're going, what the heck are they doing? Okay, I don't do any of that. Okay, I write a specific ad. I post on a specific website, and I follow a specific format, and it works like gold. So let me show you what it is. I write a specific ad, right? And I post it on ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is a website that you can literally post it to every message board on the interweb, okay? You post it everywhere. And what will happen is your ad will blast out everywhere. Now, obviously, I can't get into details exactly what the ad, because obviously I don't want to be too long here. But what happens is the ad points to a 7-step survey. That asks detailed, specific questions. At the end of the survey, it prompts them to submit a video. Okay, that's actually an extra live video of one of a guy that we didn't hire. So now it goes to a ZipRecruiter. So I might get a couple hundred people that go and then submit a survey, and then people submit the survey, and out of a couple hundred, it's down to maybe 5 to 10. We'll submit a video, and then after the video, based upon their survey, I can pick. Now, Jerry Beth, my lead manager, this is exactly how I found her, right? What I did was I did a whole video. She sent a video. I got like 7 or 8 other videos. I looked at them all. We picked 3. I did phone interviews with 3 of them. 2 of them just didn't work out. Jerry Beth did, and then I had her take what's called a Kolbe test. And this tells me specifically how a person takes action, right? Do they need a lot of facts before they take action? Are they a follow-through type of person? Are they a quick start where, hey, they just, give me the information, I'm ready to go, right? And or are they an implementer? Based upon this Kolbe test, you can have the right people for the right positions. You do not want someone in a sales position with a low quick start, which is the green. You do not. You want someone in a position that's going to be on the phone in the follow-up with a high follow-through and a mid-range fact find. This tells you. So what happens is you're not putting the wrong person in the right seat. Right? If you have a seat there, the person that's going to be outside sales rep and they're very low in the quick start and they're very high in the fact find, you're going to be beating your head against the wall because they're not going to bring you deals. Now, there's some people on the phone, right? I'm listening. They're on this thing. They're close to 1,000 people on right now. And there's people on there right now that have hired people or they have people on their team right now and they're beating their head against the wall because they're the wrong person and because they didn't give them a Kolbe test, and you have the wrong person in the right seat. You need to put that person in the right seat. Chelsea, with her example, I had her in the wrong position. I had her as a project manager, and she's more of a fact finding and a follow through. So she's this person that can follow a system and do it day in and day out, right? So that's hiring rock stars. Now, what happens the next big question? How do I keep everybody productive, on track, generating revenue week in, week out? So now you have the vision of what you're going to create. Now you know how to hire people to get them in the right spot. Then you're going, well, how do I keep, whether it be a one person, now you got two people coming on, then you got three people. How can you create a systemized type of thing where it keeps everybody on track, everybody motivated, everybody focused on those 3-year, 10-year, and 1-year revenue goals? How do you keep them on track? It's called through strategic meetings. We do meetings every single Monday at 10 o'clock. They start on time, they end on time, and we have a specific agenda that we follow every single week. And we do a weekly meeting, we do a quarterly meeting, and we do an annual meeting. In January, we did our big annual meeting. We planned out everything for the entire year. All of our numbers, we reversed engineered our goals. We built our scorecards of what we're going to focus on for our quarterly scorecards. We built out our marketing channels and took our marketing numbers from last year and brought them over into this year of what we're going to focus on. And we built our entire annual. And they broke that down in the quarterly goals that broke down into weekly KPIs or reporting numbers that we can focus on. Okay. So now, weekly, we do a weekly meeting. Now, it's the end of the quarter right now. So this coming Monday in our office, we have an all-day quarterly meeting, and we're going to go through everything, readjust our numbers, right? And then move forward aggressively so we can hit our goals. You have a complete pulse on your business. Now, here's a picture of my office, actually, and there's the 80-inch plasma I was telling you about. That's my conference table, and you see that little bowl in the middle there? That's an incentive bowl. It's filled with a ton of little cards that once they hit their goals on a weekly basis, they get to reach in that bowl, and in that bowl is little things like, gift cards, actually days off, a vacation day. There's Starbucks cards, there's Amazon cards, and also there's big stuff like iPads, Kindles. I have a 55-inch plasma. So 2 weeks ago, Nate won a 55-inch plasma. He hit his numbers for the week, and so it's cool. They're all pumped because they want to reach in the bowl. They're excited about it, right? And if they don't do it, they're bummed. So it's dangling, right, that carrot, and it keeps everybody fired up and motivated. It's killer. So here's the deal. How do you keep them all? It's called a scorecard, right? And a scorecard is basically a simple spreadsheet, right? And these are all your key performance indicators, a simple spreadsheet that you can look at that will give you a pulse of exactly what's going on. You have the goal, right, which is your quarterly goal. And then you have each week of the reporting of what your numbers are. You got a pipeline revenue, weekly revenue, future weekly, You've got closings, future closings, leads, postcards mailed, contracts, offers made, contracts accepted. Nate, Jerry, Beth, right? Appointments, offers, contract number, contract value. And then Brandon is the bird dogs, right? So or JV partners. So we get how many contracts. So his numbers is how many bird dog contracts. So he's focused out. He's getting contracts every single week from JV partners. That's what he's doing as he's selling properties. And as you fill in these numbers, everything populates down here of a cost per lead, right? Because you put your marketing expense in here and your year-to-date revenue. And it's all transparent for everybody can see to make sure they're on their goals. It's killer. You can manage. So here's the deal. I go on I have a beach house in Southern California in Dana Point, and I go there every year for July. If you have your scorecard here, you can manage your entire business. And we have it up to a Google Drive. So we have our up there Google Drive. I can go in there anytime. I still do my Monday morning meetings with them, right? I just go out to the we have this big park out there, right? I tether on my phone with my iPhone there, and I do my Monday morning meeting with the guys via Skype. It's great. So it's cool. So I can do that and keep track of everything that's going on in my business. It's called a scorecard. Oops. So now the next question becomes, how do I manage my business with my team on a day in, day out business, day in and day out? So how do I manage my team? How do I manage all the seller leads? How do I manage all the buyer leads? How do I manage all the properties we got going? How the heck do I keep track of all this stuff with a team of people in one centralized place? Now, I can tell you I have tried every CRM known to man. I've tried FreedomSoft. I've tried RealFlow. I've tried what's that one called? HighRise, which is 37 Signals product. I've tried everything, right? And then a while ago, Joe McCall showed me Podio, and I completely dove in, and took me 3 months to build out what's called an app suite. Now let me show you. Go here. This is Podio. Now, if you see right here, it has revenue report, pipeline report, right here, right here. And this is just for Phoenix. This is not including Vegas. It's not including JV deals. It's not including partnership deals I do with students across the country that submit within the Flip2Freedom Academy, all that type of stuff. This is just Phoenix. So here you see, look at Jerry Beth. She's not online right now, because she left. I'm online, right? But Jerry Beth left about 2 hours ago. Nathan is idle, so he's online right now, but he's idle. Brandon was last seen about an hour ago. I'm online, and Chelsea was last seen about 5 hours ago, because Chelsea doesn't spend a lot of time in there. So here's the sales summary for just Phoenix: 106, 168. That was a good month. 300,000, 147, 182, 308. So if you see now, look at this. My sales guy, right? Stan, I right here, I hired new employees, right, in November. Actually, end of November, right here, December, I hired 3 new people, actually 2 new people in December. I hired Brandon and Nate at the beginning of December, okay? And Nate was the realtor as an outside sales rep, and Brandon is my disposition manager. My lead sales guy, right, actually died of a heart attack in November. And at the end of October, beginning of November, and that month, I was doing everything myself. I did everything. I was running everything myself. Stan was my lead, and some of you guys know him. Stan, he was my dispositions guy. He got a ridiculous job offer from an elevator company that basically doubled the amount of money he was making with me. Gave him all his retirement stuff and everything, and he took that, which I told him actually to take. So this November, December, right? January was rough. I mean, because look at the numbers different from January. January is rough. February, back on track up there. In March, we still feeling a little tight in March, okay? But what this does, we have our weekly meetings and our agendas in there, all of our contacts, seller leads, cash buyers, agents, offers are made, appointments. These are all appointments that Nate goes on. So she'll go in there and for the seller leads, put the seller leads and make the appointments. whiteboard, right? This is a whiteboard. So if you look at the whiteboard, these are the properties we have in Phoenix that are in escrow, right? Here's the marketing campaign. Here's the buy price, sold price spread right here. Okay. And these are who's basically, so Brandon got this one, Jerry Beth, so actually who's got the contracts. So this is in escrow to purchase, right? These are closing this week. These are all should be closing by Friday. Now look at the numbers, 9, 8, 8, 8. These are low spreads right here. These are low spreads. These spreads are getting better right here, but I'm really working on Nate to increase his spreads, right? I'm really working on him to increase his spreads to get him higher, which we talked about conversion and actually being able to negotiate low. Has all listings in here, campaigns. All the campaigns are marketing campaigns go in here and they tie to a specific property, and then it goes in here. So this is Podio, and this app suite took me and modified it, changed it, developed it, everything like that. I mean, we still have more. We have JV partners, bird dogs. So the thing is, we have we keep track of everything within Podio, which is killer. So now that's Podio, right? Which is killer. It has an iPhone app, which is amazing. That you can run your entire business from your iPhone, which is phenomenal. All right. So the next burning question: how do you ramp up the marketing, dominate your competition by 10 times the revenue? Question number 6, it's the marketing rollout mind map. And I know I'm giving you guys a ton of information, but I wanted to. So here's the deal. I'm going to go through this real quick. This is the marketing mind map. Okay. So this is a rollout of all of our different marketing channels, right? So we've got online marketing, Google AdWords, Bing pay-per-click, and YouTube videos, right? That's online marketing. And Bing is tied to Yahoo, and that's where your ads will show up on Bing and Yahoo, which has about 20% of the search traffic than Google. Google is obviously the monster. Yellow letters go to inheritance list and follow-up leads. Unbranded postcards, if we do those, go to blanket list, free and clear absentee owners. Branded from 1-800-FAIR offer, go from blanket list, free and clear absentee owners, tax default, and no data list, right? And we throw in other ones like divorce lists and stuff like that. Offline marketing, bandit signs, TV ads, TV radio. So we're developing a TV ad right now. Radio, we have a radio ad, but we're tweaking it right now because it didn't work like we wanted to for the cost per lead. Now, the cool thing is, if you know your cost per lead, then you tell your market, say, listen, I need to be at a $200 cost per lead. I usually tell them I need to be at a $150 cost per lead. And if we get a $150 cost per lead, then bam, it's good to go. If we don't, oh well, then we can't continue, or we're going to have to renegotiate pricing. If you don't know your cost per lead, it's very difficult to buy media. Newspapers, Valpak, Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages is a great source of getting deals. JV partners, and doing monthly meetups. So this is a rollout. People go, well, how do you scale your marketing? It's right here. This is it. You might have a project where you can say, this quarter, I want to get this online. This quarter, I want to really ramp up the amount of marketing to these different lists. This quarter, I want to go out and I want to turn around and I want to get in the Yellow Pages and get in newspapers consistently. So what's going to happen is you're going to start rolling out the marketing as you get your team and your systems in place, which is killer. All right, which is that. Now, here's the deal. That's a marketing rollout mind map. Here's the deal. I haven't had a chance to even talk about the most effective mail pieces. There are different mail pieces that work effectively for different lists. There are letters versus postcards. It's not yellow letters. It's branded letters. List to target and why, right? And how to pull those lists and where to get them. Top performing keywords, right? Best performing landing pages. Lead management, how my team and I use basically Podio anywhere in the world. The verbiage, the paperwork, right? The wrap transactions. I haven't even talked about exactly how to monetize leads and the 4 different ways to monetize them. I haven't had to talk about hiring, right? I got my payroll company, understand the Colby test, my employment contracts, the source defining rock stars, how to do it, the templates for the surveys, the ad that you put on there and all that type of stuff, the whole entire thing, right? We haven't had time to talk about that. New market penetration, haven't even had time to talk about that. How do you pick a market and how do you enter a market with your current team to be able to start doing deals and picking low-hanging fruit in other markets? Haven't even talked about that, okay? So, and more importantly, is how to tweak these numbers. What's it going to take with this winning percentage rate? What's it going to take to turn around, increase that, right? How can you get better closing ratio? How can you reduce your average sales cycle down? How can you take the active opportunities, right, and increase those active opportunities? And how can you increase? There are specific things that only can do. I can't do I could do a 7-hour webinar and I could go through all this stuff, right? In detail. But the bottom line is all this information right here is this one thing alone, right? Your conversion ratio, this one thing alone is amazing and is key component for you and your team. Building this down, it can increase your bottom line. So here's the deal. I am doing personally a 4-week live masterclass. Okay. It's going to be all updated, all fresh information. I'm going to give you every single system I have, every spreadsheet, every mind map, every tool, every AdWords campaign, every list we target, every mail piece we use that's high converting, right? And we are going to basically build and launch a 6-figure business called 100K Wholesaler. And class begins Thursday, 4/16/15. And we're basically looking for 24 people to work with. Now, here's the deal. As a bonus, if you become one of the 24 of the 100K Wholesaler Masterclass, 4-week Masterclass, you get ambassador access to the Flip2Freedom Academy. Okay. And here's what you get in week 1. Big picture, creating a clear and compelling vision, understanding the numbers, my tools and spreadsheets, what are KPIs, how to use them and manage, basically everything we're talked about, adding and scaling the correct marketing channels, building a huge response. I haven't even talked about responsive buyers list, right? I'm gonna show you the email platforms I use and how I built a 38,000 people email list of buyers nationally. I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. I'm going to show you the platform that I use to do it. And I can tell you this one thing alone, if you could sell unsellable properties, is priceless. I'm also going to talk about the agreement for sale and the contract for deed. This is crucial. Understanding how to do a wrap transaction. Understanding with the current Dodd-Frank laws how you are able to generate revenue off a deal that has minimal equity. If you have a house that's worth $400,000 and they owe $460,000 or they $400,000, they owe $360,000. How can you make money off that? Well, you can't. Typically, you can't make money off that, right? And what's going to happen is that yes, you can. Most people would pass on those deals. I would get that particular lead and I'd be able to generate revenue on it. Now, you can do this with luxury homes. Identifying the right lead, talk about structuring the deal with a seller. We're going to talk about how to negotiate these type of deals. These are wrap transactions, seller finance deals. This will get you to a conversion rate of where you go, this one thing alone, not even talking about reading personalities, the closing techniques, the objection annihilation method, the custom covert intuitive presentation, none of that. Just this alone will get you from a 4% to an 8%. It will double the amount of contracts you get with the same amount of leads. Specific details in writing the contracts, incredibly important. Flipping the contract for huge cash. How can you arbitrage the spread, right? And you got to do this legally with the whole Dodd-Frank Act, okay? So it's imperative. Marketing for buyers for a fast exit. Structuring the deal, thinking about the exit first so you can go out and crank it. Week number 2, how to sign more contracts with less leads, right? And that talks about the conversion, how to read people like a book and move them to sign a contract, right? Using my custom covert intuitive presentation. It's an iPad presentation, how to use that with your seller, and then how to negotiate specifically using repair values, repair numbers, and also exactly how to specifically use that one portion. Closing techniques in the objection annihilation method. Closing. How do you close a contract? You say, does that sound good to you? You don't say that to a seller. Oh, it's so great. Does 40,000 sound good to you? No, you don't say that. There's a handful of specific closing techniques you can use, right? Then we've got knowing the positions and responsibilities and numbers to report. This is your hiring rockstar and Podio integration. Where to find rock stars, how to hire them, how to pay them. Using the Colby test so you know how to put the right person in the right seat, right? Where to find the rock stars. I'm going to give you my pay structure. I'm going to give you my contract, right? My contract I use with them, how to pay them, what pay service I use, understanding systems so your life will be. So understanding what systems they have in place so that you can basically, they can do their job, and you come in and you can run your business by Monday morning meetings. Other than like anything that's escalated, like a mad seller, a mad buyer, any type of escalated issues you handle from there. Week number 4, knowing the right business structure to maximize revenue and minimize taxes. Meeting structure and agenda for gaining massive traction. Exactly what to do in the meetings, how to hold them, what agenda, and how it works. Motivating your team to produce exceptional results, wealth creation using this automated process, and becoming more efficient and more profitable. Okay. We showed you in the spreadsheet, we talked about your profit percentage. How do you decrease that? That expense percentage? How do you decrease that expense percentage? Which will increase your profitability. And to do that, there's specific things you can do by cutting the fat out of your business and just strictly focusing on what is working. It's the 80-20 rule of this business, which is obviously important. Bonus number 2 is the science of flipping HUD homes in a 4-week intensive. This is a 4-week intensive I did several months ago. And I take you and this is a great way to generate revenue without spending a dime on marketing. I take you in the HUD website. I show you how to search for the right properties. I show you HUD's mistakes that you can make a fortune on. HUD makes mistakes on these deals, and if you know how to spot them and you know how to bid on them correctly, you never bid what they want. You bid significantly under what they want, and you can even sell them at or below what their list price is and move these properties quickly for cash profits. How the bids work. I bid on hundreds. Others are in this particular picture. It's 363. I've basically flipped roughly 60 to 70 HUD homes. I average about $10,000 on one with no marketing costs. So that's $600,000 to $700,000 in revenue just off flipping HUD homes, which is great. It's all the details of the specifics, the behind things, spreadsheets. And I actually did the training with Robinson Arias. And this is his story that he sent me basically 24 months ago. He sent me this. He says, after I found you a month ago through an email I received, thanks, I opened it, but you are not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. I listened to your webinar and joined the HUD Properties program. It made sense and it solidified what I was looking for. I took action the same day. I called my broker and gave her my NAID number. I registered as an agent since I have a license, and we put in 5 offers the second day under my wife's real estate company. Some of them were canceled since I did not meet what HUD wanted. The other 2 bids were accepted by another bidder. And after 2 days, I received an email that one of my offers was accepted. Now, this is talk about taking action, right? To put this short, we sold the property 30 days, made a profit of $9,954, plus I earned a 3% commission, so we made over $10,000 in our first deal. Bought for $62, sold for $73. After all expenses, transactional funding fee, we netted $10,500. Since then, I changed my model of business. I stopped doing short sales, and now we have 2 more properties under contracts. We're probably having one sold for $39 bought for 39, selling for 47. The third one we're going to keep, bought it for 32. Worst today's market 85, which right now is probably worth a lot more. I just wanted to throw in a few words of thanks. You are real. Finally, someone that does not talk like an old guru selling old stuff. I'm a believer of the law of attraction. I attracted this situation. Somehow I found you. I still don't know how I got the email in my inbox or why I even opened it or read it. I receive tons of crap every day, and sometimes I read and sometimes I just put in the garbage without even reading it. That day I read it, and since then I started business in a different way. Thanks again. And by the way, I was broke, filed for bankruptcy, Chapter 7 in 2011, and lost everything except my family. But I never lost hope, Robinson Arias. Now, 2 years later, 24 months after this one training, nothing else. He doesn't get properties anywhere else. He doesn't do marketing. He doesn't do bandit signs. He doesn't do AdWords. Just HUD Homes. Made over $600,000 in 24 months with this one strategy alone. That is amazing. So this training I did with him. He shared all his secrets, and it's on demand. You can watch it 24/7, and it's up-to-date, fresh information. We just got finished it. It's killer. So let's recap what you get. Six-figure hole, you get basically the 100K wholesaler program, ambassador level Flip2Freedom Academy, full access to the HUD Maverick Intensive, fully optimized Google PPC campaign for lightning fast start, access to my high converting I didn't even talk about, you get full access to my mail center where you get all my updated mail stuff, all my postcards and letters and all that type of stuff. You can get that as part of it. Exclusive access to my personal mail center with negotiated pricing, right? 5-star rated support, Apple like support. I have Chelsea, it's a full-time, and that's all she does. Bonus 3, bonus 4, and bonus 5. That right now is just a value of $10,282. Now, also, it's all available and accessible on your mobile devices. So if you want to watch on your computer and then you want to look at it on your laptop, then you want to do it on your iPad or check it out on your cell phone, your smartphone, you can. It's accessible from all devices, which makes it killer. All right. So 100K wholesaler. So what's the tuition to attend? Originally, we're going to do it for $19.97, but it's $9.97. One-time investment, only 24 seats available. And we're only taking 24, small group, because I can't be on these calls answering 50 billion questions. So we're only taking 24 people at this time. The first 24 people, when we hit 24, we're closing it out. We're done. And then we start on the 16th. So bonus number 3 is access to the Flip2Freedom Academy Facebook group, private Facebook group. We have well over 1,500 members in there right now, which is great. That's the Facebook group. And also you get rapid real estate. This is how to make $12,000 in 37 days or less. It's valued at $9.97. It's perfect for brand newbies to go out and understand the exact process to going out from zero to make your first check. And then the cool thing is scaling it to the next level. So my direct response marketing, targeted postcards, direct access to my mail house, hand list selection, how to launch a Google AdWords campaign. You get the AdWords campaign I actually built, talking to sellers, taking the calls, the scripts and what to say, setting appointments, writing offers, in-depth property analysis, example property valuation. Week number 3 is purchase contracts explained. This is all on demand. Writing the contract and adding contract clauses, earnest money, how to find hot buyer leads 24/7, how to attract flooded cash buyers to your deals in 7 days or less, top 5 methods for explaining in detail locating cash buyers, talking and negotiating the cash buyers. This whole premise is around going out and generating cash fast from a start to finish. Signing a contract with a buyer, what to expect. Week 5, how to find the best closing agent, assignment explained versus a double escrow explained, how to facilitate the closing, getting paid, and how to scale your business. So let's recap. This is everything. Fully optimized, converting campaign, 5-star support, access to private members Facebook group, instant access to the 12K in 37 days or less, plus the HUD intensive. That's $15,276. Or we have a 100K wholesaler for first 24 people, $997 one time, or if you choose to do a two-pay, it's $557. It's supposed to be $577. That's a typo. I apologize. it's supposed to be $577, and that's $577 for. Let me just change it right now so you know. That's actually a typo. 577. There you go. So 577 on a two-pay. All you got to do is go to www.100kwholesaler.com, 100K wholesaler, and that's for the first 24 people. As soon as 24 people hit, then it's done. All right. So it comes back with a 100% money back guarantee. You can sign up. Go through weeks. If you don't like the way I teach, if you don't like the information I'm talking about, if it's too advanced, whatever, you can ask for a refund, a 30-day refund. It's risk-free, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. If after 1 year and you don't apply the information, you show me specifically exactly what you did after a year, and if you didn't implement 3 things and triple your money, I'll refund it. And because I want to make sure that you fully understand that it's about you going out and having success, but you got to do the work. You just can't sit back and do nothing. Okay, you got to prove that you've done the work. Now, fast action bonus number 5, live workshop every 2 weeks. This is critical. I've been doing this since 2011, but I get on the phone with you personally every 2 weeks, and I talk about new stuff that I'm doing in my business, stuff that's working, new marketing strategies, and I keep you up to date with current market trends. And then I answer all your questions. I was on today for 2 hours this afternoon with the Flip2Freedom Academy members for 2 hours, and it was great. Go to 100K Wholesaler. It's 577 times 2. And you can go and you can get started right away, right there. All right, this is everything you get. The whole program, $29,773 value on there. So now you have a choice. Do you want to be the struggling investor that's trying to figure out everything himself and trying to do it himself and try to figure out the spreadsheets and try to figure out the scorecard and try to figure out the marketing campaigns and try to figure out the accountability charts, trying to figure that out? Or do you want to bridge the gap? I'll give you everything to bridge the gap. You'll have a clear vision of exactly what you're going to build, 10-year target, 3-year target, 1-year target. You're going to reverse engineer that so you can go out and accomplish it. You're going to put it into a scorecard so you can track it on a weekly basis. And you're going to run the business like a business instead of just trying to implement it, and then move you from a struggling real estate investor trying to figure everything out to someone who is doing it. And the cool thing is I'm going to be on live. I'm doing it. No one else is doing it. I'm going to do the training with you. We're going to go through everything for 4 weeks. We got a ton of stuff we're going to go through. There's a ton of stuff I didn't even talk about that we're going to go through. Okay. And what we're going to do is I'm going to be able to answer all your questions live, which will be great. Remember, David Marquette. I mean, these are the stories of people. I mean, look at Tyler White's, right? This is a check for $111,668. I mean, if you look at this, over $140,000 in revenue with $15,000 in expenses, then goes out just in January alone, January 23rd, 2015, $111,000 on one deal. Okay. Imagine if he decided not to get started. Oh, it sounds too good to be true. I don't know if it can work. Are you kidding me? You don't know who's going to call you on the phone. This guy got 2 deals, 2 properties. I'm a member. I seen your message in the group. I wholesaled 2 properties last year. He just did 2 properties. Made $130,000. He made more than the average American makes in 4 times because he got started. Brian Elwood. $430,000 in profit this year alone. In 2014, made over $1 million. He's got a $1 million business right now. Justin Casey, 23 deals, over $100,000 in revenue. Cheapers. I messed up every single one, didn't I? 577. Okay. So I've got it. All right. So 24 seats. I don't know. It'll probably the next day or so. I don't know, but 24 seats available. One time, $997. I'll be live on with you, myself, and or 577 times 2. Go to 100kwholesaler.com. Now, let me show you 100K Wholesaler and show you where to download that thingamajigger. Now, if you go to 100K Wholesaler, you can join me for 4 weeks on precisely how you can scale your wholesaling business from $0 to $100,000 a month. Now, like I said, what if you screw up, right? What if you screw up and you just do and make $100,000 a year, right? Here's Zach's story. 24 seats available. This is all the stuff we're going to go through. How to build a huge responsive email buyer list, give you my AdWords campaign masterclass, how to read people like a book using my custom covert and presentation, the objection annihilation method, the hyper-effective strategy for maximizing each lead. This is incredibly important. How and why to use the agreement for sale and the contract for deed. What's the difference, right? And that whole process from writing the contract, hiring rock stars, setting up Podio implementation. We're talking about the Colby test, how to get your systems to run on autopilot, your payroll systems that you do, the contracts that you can write with your team members, and managing your meetings, your weekly meetings, single pay, two pay, killer testimonial. And these are fax action bonuses right here, Flip2Freedom Academy, HUD Maverick Intensive, Facebook group, fast action bonus, and live bi-weekly coaching calls, 24 seats, 30-day money-back guarantee, single pay, and then questions right here. And here is right here is the master plan mind map that you can download for free if you want. Cool. Now I'm going to answer some questions briefly, and then my daughter is singing in about 30 minutes, and I've got to go. All right, so who do we got here? Yeah, this material will not be in the Flip2Freedom Academy. It's on a private portal right here. And what we're going to do is go in. You'll have access. All the material will be accessed here, right, in this private portal for six-figure wholesale for 100K wholesaler. Each week they'll have videos recorded, and we're going to break down each week's segment for you into bite-sized pieces, and we're going to put it in here neatly organized that you'll have access to. So you're going to have access to this, and you're going to have access to the Flip2Freedom Academy and everything within there, okay? This is just a new portal that we're using just for this particular, because people get in the Flip2Freedom Academy, but I want just for people that want to scale their business, okay? And yes, you have access to all the material. You get access to material on the weekly basis. We cover something. We'll have the videos up there quickly, and then we'll have the content that we talked about and access, and then you have access to all this stuff that you can watch from anywhere in the world. This is from Darren Young. He says, what do we do for people that work? What we can do for people that work, if you have a job, see if you can maybe take off a day or two on the trainings. Otherwise, all the content is going to be here in bite-sized pieces, well organized, put together with all the material that we talked about. We'll do, I'll do maybe we'll do a night call, right, and then we'll do a day call. So we can put them together like that if you want, and try to we'll survey and ask people what they prefer. Are all the classes recorded? Yes, they are. What's the hours of the training? We're doing it every the first one we're doing Thursday, the 16th of April, because we were going to do it on Wednesday, but it's Wednesday is tax day. So we're going to do it the 16th of April. And then the rest of the time, it's the next following week, the 15th, and the following week after that. I mean, the following Wednesday. So it's every Wednesday for 4 weeks straight. Does 100K wholesaler come with Flip2Freedom Academy? Yes. You get everything within it. Does it come with? Yes, it comes with Flip2Freedom Academy, but it's separate from Flip2Freedom Academy. It has its own portal. This is from Linda. So let's say if you want to do it virtually, like for an example, I'm in Phoenix, but we do deals in Vegas. I'm not in Vegas. We have partnership with a local wholesaler in Vegas that we can do deals with out there. Okay, so it's building a partnership with someone local, and we'll kind of show you how to do that. Can this be done in the UK? Yes, it can be done. If you're in the UK, you can. I don't know if you can do it physically in the UK because I'm not familiar with the UK laws or the real estate laws or even the real estate market there. But you can flip houses in USA from Canada, from the UK, from other countries. We have people that do it. This is for Jill. If you're already a Flip2Freedom Academy member, right, this is a complete different product, different portal. And like I said, we're only taking 24 people on at this time. And so if you want to join it, then you can either do the 2-pay or the single pay. But we don't have any specific coupon code or anything like that for existing members right now. Okay. I keep going out. That's not good. Does Podio work on Android? Yes. How much does Podio cost? It's free up to 5 users. And then part of the program is I give you my app suite. The new Podio is extremely confusing. No, it's not. Not if you have the app suite set up and everything's all done. It's easy to use. It's actually easy to use. Problem with audio says resolved. Okay. How much working capital do I need to start something like this? Obviously, when you're scaling to $100,000 a month in revenue, you don't start there. You start, like I said, I started from writing letters on the kitchen table. That's how I started, and I got my first deal. I reinvested back in the marketing, and I scaled it strategically from there. 15%, I did that. So if someone's completely broke, there are methods that you can use to start going out and building through free sites, through free methods, through even co-wholesaling, that you can start building revenue and then scale it. Because eventually you're going to want to do marketing, obviously. To say it's not, then that'd be crazy. But start from where you are. Don't let money stop you from getting started, because there are a bunch of different ways you can get started without money. Yeah, this is from May. Says, I appreciate you making the presentation big enough to read so we all can follow you. Actually, it's funny because when I turned 40, my near vision sight went bonkers, right? And I was like, I was reading a book in the morning. I wake up early and read. I'm like, holy cow, I can't even see. So now everything is big. I mean, my daughter looks at my text on my iPhone and he goes, Dad, what are you, blind? So everything is big. I have 2 presentations. There has to be a better way to get started. I don't know any other way. This is from Tim. It costs $4,800 to do an $11,000 deal. I don't know what you're talking about. We would love to start investing without using credit. I have never had on any of the deals that we ever do have my credit pulled. What is the second tool next to Google Voice? We use what's called CallRail. And that's what we use for our voice service. Cool. Eddie Roundsville. What's up, Eddie? He's been on there early. Cool. All right. Well, that's it for I think I got all the questions. 50 million of them here. Let me see. This is a good question from Justin. How do you keep your employees working for you instead of going out and using all my information and starting their own deal? If you and I had a hard time with that at first. Honestly, I did. But once you understand that there are employee type people and then there are entrepreneurs, right? They see the amount of money I'm spending on marketing and the payroll and the risk and stuff. They don't want to take the risk. They just want to be in their comfy job. They want to make their cool commissions. They want to make good money, come to work every day, do a good job. They don't want to deal with owning a business. This is from, are you offering this again after the upcoming 24 members? I don't know. I don't have any plans to right now. Probably not until next year sometime. If I decide to do it again, it's depending on how these 24 really crank it out. Will the classes be available on demand? Yes, they will. You'll get a portal login for this and all the classes in the Flip2Freedom Academy, and you can watch them on all your devices. Is this being held virtually? Yeah, we're going to do it via webinar format, right? Through a teaching format, answering questions. You don't have to fly to Arizona. Yes, includes access to the HUD training. What are the details of direct mail service? We'll get more in that in detail when we get into the training. What hours of the day? You know what? Typically, we have them at once a week. We're starting on the 16th with a Thursday. The next week after that will be a Wednesday. But we'll do them once a week, typically at 11 o'clock. And we finish when we finish. But like I said, it's recorded and made on demand. Depending on the feedback from people, we might do one or two of the trainings at night, like at 5 o'clock. And then get done when we get done. This is from also, does your marketing manager responsible for tracking the numbers for your marketing campaigns? Direct mail? Yes. Marketing manager, she takes care of everything, basically tracking all the numbers and everything like that. This is a good question from Nathan. He says, do you recommend 100K wholesaler for complete novices with very little funds? Because it comes with 12,037 days, and because it comes with the Flip2Freedom Academy, and it comes with all that information that will start you, then I would definitely jump on it, because as you start doing your first deals, you're going to want to start knowing the information we're talking about of building your business. So if it didn't come with Flip2Freedom Academy or 12K in 37 days and all that type of, and all that experience, then I'd say wait until you get some more stuff to get more experience under your belt. But because it comes with all that, then I would definitely become one of the 24 if you can. Yeah, is this course for newbies? I just answered that. Yeah, it's at a standalone, no, because it's pretty advanced stuff. But because it comes with the Flip2Freedom Academy and the 12K in 37 days and everything else, then it's a perfect tie-in. Chad, if you signed up, I'm going to have everybody that signed up, if you signed up and it went through and you got to a thank you page and there's a video of me and stuff like that, you should get login details from Kajabi, which is the membership to Flip2Freedom Academy. You won't get membership details to this. We're going to take everybody and import them in here within the next couple days for the 24 that comes in. So you'll get a confirmation email either from authorize.net or you'll get a login details from Kajabi for the Flip2Freedom Academy. This is from Linda. Says, do we cover mortgage assignments, short sales? I don't do short sales because of the deed restrictions that they have on typical short sales that they've done. So I don't talk about short sales. Mortgage assignments are wraps, or where you take an existing loan and you can wrap an existing loan. And we do talk significantly about that because it's a way to optimize leads that typically most people would pass on. Thanks, man. Thank you. Yes. Jill said, would you like to borrow your glasses? Yes, I would. I just don't like, I mean, I have the reading glasses and I read at home, I have my iPad or something like that, but I haven't totally adapted into wearing any type of glasses. So yeah, there is no promo code. This is a good question from Todd. Does Podio let you use Squeeze Page to download directly? There is a tie-in, which is called Zapier, that will connect two different software programs like an Aweber, GetResponse, iContact, MailChimp, and it will connect it directly into Podio. Thanks, Jamie Lee. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, good question. This is from TT. Will you have access to this information after the four weeks? Absolutely. You'll have access to it. It's as long as the web is alive, it'll be up there for you guys to have access to and listen to it. Can you do this in Houston, Ali? Absolutely. Houston rocks. But if I'm just interested in the HUD flipping program, then it's the same price, right? So just buy this and you get access to this. And once you start doing the HUD flipping, then you're going to want to know this information. Trust me. Once you start getting into it, so it's the same price, right now the HUD flipping we don't have available, but you could essentially buy it and backdoor it and have access to in the academy. This is from Renee. She asked, is it more tailored for newbies? It's more tailored for experienced wholesalers, but because it comes with the Flip2Freedom Academy and other information, 12K in 37 days, then that is tailored to newbies. So then, you get the best of both worlds. Does this program include Flip2Freedom Academy? Yes, it does. 100K Wholesaler is a complete different program, different from the Flip2Freedom Academy. So it's a 4-week class that I'm doing. So I would recommend, going through or the Flip2Freedom Academy and getting that information. And then maybe after you go through that, then if I decide maybe next year sometime coming out with this or making it available, you can get started then. All right. Nazar, what is up, Nazar? Hey, Nazar. Nazar, I love Nazar. He's come to all the events and he's very active on Facebook and actually does his own online training now. So killer dude. But his question is, when it comes to outsourcing, Outsourcing is a very tough thing. It's a hit and miss. You may hire 10 people and you only get one or two. I personally like to hire people locally, either on a part-time or full-time basis. I can meet them. I can meet them on a weekly basis. I can get to know them and stuff like that. Now, Alex, if you talk to Alex Youngblood, he loves his outsource person. So it just depends on who you find and who you work with. But I like to work with someone local. But the hiring system would work both for either hiring local or even hiring virtual assistants. This is from Roderick. He's saying, how soon does people complete a deal? Um, you know, 100K wholesaler is more about someone that's already doing deals, right? And they're going out now, they're refining their systems to be more efficient and to scaling it from where they are to where they want to be. Okay. It's not about, I want to get a first deal done in 30 days because I'm assuming they've already, like Nazar. He does, 25, 30 deals a year, I'm assuming. Now he wants to scale it to 60, 70, 80, 100 deals a year, right? So, I mean, it's more advanced, like that type of thing. Now, the cool thing is if you are a newbie, then you can you get Flip2Freedom Academy and you get 12K in 37 days, which that product's not even available right now. But that specifically focuses on helping you get your check as fast as humanly possible. So, whew. All right, that's it for all the questions, guys. Thank you so much for participating. I greatly appreciate it. God bless. Have a great evening and happy April 1st. Take care. Bye bye.